Let's start building and formatting this top Jumbotron section here to look like the 1 million line site. So since we know we're just going to copy the text from here, all this, what we can do is we could type it in, or we're going to go ahead and take a shortcut and right click view page source, and then we know that it's in that Jumbotron class and it has to be within the container, so it's within the lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this h1 tag and this paragraph tag right here. Alright, so grab that, copy it, go over to Sublime, replace this h1 and this paragraph tag. So what we're doing is we're just putting in the correct text for the h1 and the correct text for the paragraph. So let's save that. Come over here and look. Alright, so we have the right text now. So a couple things to look at in the code that we haven't seen before. These BR tags right here are line break tags, so it's just saying it to go to the next line. And you can see that it goes to the next line after inspire and after 1 million. See, next line, next line. It hasn't gone all the way to the edge over here, but we've told it, just to enter and give it a line break and go to the next line. Another one is these strong tags right here. And that's basically saying that whatever's in the strong tag, so you have the opening strong and the closing strong tag here, is going to be bolded. It's an HTML tag for bold. So as you can see, hour of code bold, code.org bold. All right. Next, what we want to do is we want to center all of this here. See how this is all centered? We want to center this as well. So let's inspect this element. And we've played around in this area before. We have the HTML over here, the CSS over here, and then the cool thing is whatever is highlighted. So right now we're highlighted on that H1. We can just go over here and see what CSS we need to do, or we can experiment with CSS rules to see how it affects this stuff. So for instance, I know that text align is what we want here. So we have text align center. See, and you can see it live here. See the changes, it's all gotten centered. But right now we're just highlighting this H1 tag here. What we want is everything, so I'm going to cancel this out by unclicking this. We want everything in the Jumbotron class to be centered. You can see everything, H1, paragraph, button, image, which we'll add later, is all centered. So we want to highlight this whole class here, Jumbotron. We can go over here and we can say text align center. Looks good. That's what we want. So now remember, once we reload this page, it's not going to save it. So we'll reload it here just to show you. It's all going to get reset. Boom. But we know that we wanted the whole Jumbotron, everything in it centered. So to do that, let's write our first CSS rule from scratch. And in order to say this, basically what we want to do is say any div with a class of Jumbotron, we want all the text in it centered. So to say that, say dot Jumbotron. So that's saying any HTML element. In this case, we are calling divs, or we are giving divs a class of Jumbotron. But any HTML element, class of Jumbotron, we want all its text align in the center. So save that, go back over to your site, reload, and it's all centered. Beautiful. The next thing we want to do is update this button here. And see how it's red here and we have it blue? Well, as we talked about before, there's a bunch of cool CSS components and principles that come with Bootstrap, and this is one of them. So we see buttons here. Actually, I'm sorry. We need to go over here to CSS and see buttons here on the right. It's going to scroll us down to buttons, and you can see options. Use any of the available button classes to quickly create a styled button. So you can see the different colors and see how it says primary right here. Well, we can read the code here and say button type button, class button. So you see this class button primary, and you can tell that that's the right button, one, because it's second in this line here, and it's the second button, but it also has primary right here. So that's what's going to show. So that's button primary. That's what we have right now. And we can go over to Sublime Text and see that. See, we have the class, a button with a class of button primary right here. And we want it to be red. So we see this red button right here, danger, and we can see the class is button danger here. So let's change this to danger. Save it. Reload the page, and we have a red button. All right, so we just introduced you to creating CSS rules, and I want to take the time now to talk more about CSS and introduce you to it.